welcome to another episode of Spiritual Superpowers. This is Caron, I'm Dawn, and today we have an episode a little bit more on the personal side for you all to get to know us a little bit better.
So today we're going to talk about our health issues. So why we decided to do this episode is because a lot of people out there are dealing with an illness like cancer or like an autoimmune illness. And, we have our spiritual thoughts about it or the way we approach these illnesses from a spiritual perspective. And we thought we'd just share these ideas with all of you. And if you're going through an illness yourself, this might resonate with you. So,
And it actually was part of our original merging of journeys. Because not only did we discover that we both have that same mystic interest, but we were both going through health concerns. And so we turned to different types of spiritual, metaphysical, esoteric types of services in order to see if we could heal ourselves.
and we talked a little bit about this in a previous episode called Parallel Journeys, right? And I think what we kind of want to do is give you an update from where we are.
All right, so recently, both Caron and I had a life lesson reading with Marilyn Penny. She's been a guest on the show a few times. And it was a really neat reading. There was a primary lesson that we're to learn in our soul journey. And she gave you an idea of how far along in your soul journey you are in learning that lesson. And then there were some other primaries or some secondaries underneath that. And for me, it just so happened that my main soul journey is honesty, to learn honesty. And the way that I'm doing that in this life is through health and well-being. So that kind of helped me to reevaluate where I am now, how far I've come, what I've learned, and really for me to be honest with myself on how I'm approaching my health and well-being at this time. Mm-hmm. And Caron had a reading as well.
And I'm getting this in other ways, not just through Marilyn's reading, but definitely hers was one of them, that my life lesson is trust. And it's interesting when you get diagnosed with cancer to trust the process.
I think you did a really good job. I think you really, from day one, recognized that this was a part of your soul journey.
Yeah, I always thought that. Yeah. Or if I'm just thinking about trusting the process, it's not like I'm just going to sit back and trust that everything is going to be okay. And that's, I think, that's not what we're trying to, tell you guys about dealing with an illness from a spiritual perspective. You don't want to just trust and say it'll all work out. Like, those sayings, the universe has your back. It doesn't mean just do nothing and it's all going to work out. But what I found is that the trust is that the universe is guiding my intuition to find out solutions to my health issues. And to trust my intuition. So I'm constantly looking for things that will help me, or evaluating, when I'm facing some decisions in terms of medical treatment or alternative treatment, in terms of trying to figure out which ones are the best for me. I'm using my intuition, and I'm trusting that my intuition is the best gauge of what will work for me. Because I think the thing is, what might work for me won't work for someone else that has a cancer diagnosis. So everyone's different. And I think the important thing is to trust your intuition, to tune into it and trust it.
And you've had to learn that a little bit along the way too, because there are some times when
I didn't listen.
You listened, but I think there was just outside influences that we can't help but question. We're just basing it on a feeling versus research, science, experts and professionals telling you to do one thing, but your gut's telling you to do another. It's hard to stand in your power and say, no, I'm going to follow my gut with no other reasoning.
Or use your intuition to know what you don't want to do, right? That's important too. In fact, for me, I think my intuition has told me more about what I shouldn't do more than what I should do. But it's interesting that you say about, it's hard to trust your intuition when there's all these outside influences. And I think the more people that know about, my cancer diagnosis, the more I have people telling me what they think I should do, right?
Yes.
And really the only one that knows what you should do is yourself. It's just trying to tune into that. Yeah.
And people are doing it because they care.
For sure. For sure.
But yes, it's definitely something that
you get a lot of advice, which is nice. Because sometimes you might hear something that your intuition goes, I don't know why that sounds good, but it sounds good. So again, that's your intuition maybe saying, I'm going to look into that a little bit.
Yeah, and that could be something that our viewers experience too. If you're ever watching one of our episodes and something kind of feels like, oh, that kind of hit a nerve or, resonated in some way, then follow that little instinct. And whatever we were discussing at that time, then maybe look into it a little bit more because it seems to hit a spot with you, right?
Oh, the other thing that I did since our last video on this topic was I did a past life regression with Angela Solorzano, which again we had a few episodes in the past on, and we'll put links to those in
the description box below.
Or she asked my subconscious to tune into was any past lives that have contributed to my cancer diagnosis in this life, which was kind of a unique way of looking at a past life regression.
Definitely.
Like, I was a school teacher in one life. I was a little boy in another life. I was a soldier in another life, and I was a doctor. And then I also had an experience in this life when I was younger. And all those experiences had an element of guilt. And so what that told me was guilt could be driving some of my cancer. So becoming aware of that and trying to release that is an important part of healing for me. So that was interesting too.
Your session with Shona Lozen, did that bring guilt into it as well? Was that guilt related as well? Because I know guilt has come up a few times with you as well.
Yeah, I think it
Trust
did.
and guilt are kind of like...
Trust and yeah. Yeah. So
you need to trust more and be guilty less.
Yes. I think it did.
I think it did too.
Yeah. So so anyway, it's just fascinating. So, through having these illnesses, we're learning so much more about ourselves, and on a spiritual level for sure. And I think when anyone is faced with an illness, that they should definitely address the physical. I said this before so many times in the other video, but a reminder to address the physical, the mental, and the spiritual or the energetic side. To truly heal, you have to address all sides of it.
Yeah, and because it presents in all three fields, right? The physical, mental, and emotional. So I think it's very important that you kind of touch, and you're working on everything. You're not just focusing on your spiritual growth.
So I don't know. I hope some of this resonates with you guys. If any of you are dealing with cancer or another illness, and feel free to reach out.
Yeah, and have a look at the previous videos as well, because a lot of the treatments that we've attempted over the years are from the people we've had on this show. So we know and trust them, and they've been a part of our healing journey. So I believe, can help all of us, and all of you.
And I think they were brought in, to our YouTube channel for a reason.
Yeah,
Beyond
that's
the
right.
YouTube channel, they're
That's right.
meant to help us with healing too.
Absolutely, yeah. So thank you so much for joining us today and being a part of our journey. And hopefully you got to know us a little bit better today. And if you liked the video, if you did, give us a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos, please hit the subscribe button.
All right. So until next time, we'll see you later.